hope I answered your question.
Well, I mean, your personal vote answers the question, because I would have done the same thing, because here we've talked about this ad nauseum this whole year, that we see a decrease in the utilization of the planning area. Why put more money into it? As a taxpayer, I want my money to go where it's needed, and you don't put it into a department that's not doing as much work. So, but since I wasn't here when Kevin's subcommittee came in, Chief, you got a moment?
No, we're not going to go back through all
Yeah,
that.
let's not go back through that.
I mean, we don't need to hear why it's 17 or 16. It's your obligation to have made the meeting if that's the discussion.
Okay.
Dale.
If I trying to catch up on the numbers, but, okay, you took it back and made adjustments so that the 58,000 we put in wouldn't adversely impact the bottom. But you overshot that by about 12? About 13, which is exactly what they're asking for right now. Why not take what they're asking for and you would have evened out?
Because at the time, we didn't have those other numbers. At the time, when we met to redo all this, we had an increase of whatever it was, 38, 39, whatever you had originally looked at, and how do we offset that? Subsequently to that, we got even more numbers, which was all the other things that we've been talking about.
See, my recommendation, if you go through all this, my recommendation is basically where Skip was. We put the 12,000 back into town clerk, tax collector, and take it out of the planning, back to where the planning was. I mean, I can live with that in an instant.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion.
Well, wait a second. No, there's a couple other things we have
Okay.
to make sure we're there on.
Right, and just keep in mind, again, it goes back to what Fred was speaking about earlier, is you can put 12.2 back in. It doesn't mean it's, I'm just speaking for the,
Right.
as a representative.
You don't have to do it.
It doesn't mean, folks,
That's
that's what's gonna happen.
We
Or
agree.
you take money out of planning, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden that third position that was made full-time is gonna be made part-time.
No, we understand that.
Just keep that in mind.
We get that, but at least you know what this committee wants to do.
Yeah, and keep in mind that the Board of Selectmen's budget is at less than 74,000 than what you guys have, and now you're looking to
No,
possibly.
when we get done, it will still be 74,000. You're not gonna go up one on us there. We're just gonna change them. Huh?
How can you make that statement? As a chairman.
I've made a lot of them. I mean,
All right, let's go.
we're gonna work at this. I already started that when we talked about the policemen. There's some way we're gonna find that offset. Now we have a new challenge.
Could we skip voting on the town clerk tax collected till we hit some of these other ones? Because
Sure.
that may be some way, I mean, I don't wanna cut that. I don't, but, I mean, see if we can save some money on some of these other.
Well, the planning and land use is an excellent opportunity.
I agree.
That's right, that's right, absolutely.
As
There's
it's all
nothing going on in the
recommendations,
town,
but-
and it has been for years.
And I still, you know, and when you look at the highway department, yeah, you know, that's, how can you argue with that? I still have one that bothers me, that nobody wants to address, and maybe it's a procedural thing, and that is, we're putting, as I recall, it was $25,000 into radios and repeaters and all that stuff. We have 100, you know, we're willing to, at the last minute, spend some money on some things. Why can't we say, we always have 100 grand left over? Just, it's the way life is. Why don't we be prepared, and when the end of the year comes, there's money left over, you obligate that money like you're doing on a variety of other things, and take the repeaters and the radios out of the budget.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Are you saying that we expend money in the current budget
No.
for,
This one
No.
first. Don't include
I'm
it.
saying that you obligate money every year for things that have a good, perfectly good reason.
okay,
Salt.
yep,
It has to be used throughout the year. you can very easily, since there's money goes into the undesignated fund, I recognize this is a little out of the box, but there's money goes into the undesignated fund balance every year. It's not expended. So get ready. You're ready to pull the string on a plan for these repeaters and radios, and when you have some money left over, December, you obligate it. A little less goes into the undesignated fund balance, and you met it without budgeting it.
Mr. Chairman, you're suggesting we take the higher
25,000.
cost radios out of the budget,
Right.
so that the
And I've
net
just,
effect is now you have the repeaters, we don't have to spend the money twice.
and I've just told them how to fund it.
From the leftover monies.
I'm in agreement with that.
Simple.
You have to leave a dollar in, right?
Do we know what's in the
There's already money in there for radios
Well, it's
anyhow.
this year, you're talking about this year's.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the budget we're working on.
But did-
That's
Yeah.
where the
Well,
25,000.
that's where you take it out, but you don't have to put a dollar in because it'll be spent in the money you're
Yeah.
already spending.
Didn't the budget committee criticize the school board for doing that exact same thing?
No, what the school
Yes.
board was criticized for
Yes.
was spending
No,
money
no,
that was
no.
appropriate for next year.
That's what you're suggesting?
No, this-
No, this is the.
This year.
The line item would be taken out of next year's
Left
budget.
with the dollar. Our intentions are fully to buy that repeater system
Right.
using the money that's in here now for radios.
Right.
So
I
why don't we
I
put
don't
that in
argue
the
with it.
budget and not, and take the radios out? I mean,
Because there's not enough money in the first place.
okay. So we're not gonna buy the radios, we're gonna buy the repeater system.
That's our plan.
I'm good with that too. So basically, it's gonna work out just like Dick said.
Right, but yes.
What do
We
we
don't
have
have to overspend
Exactly.
those radio line items. There's not enough money in here to do it.
In this budget season.
All right, that works out then. But there's 25,000 in there, isn't there?
I think we have about 12.
I thought there was two different parts of the budget added up to a total of 25,000.
I thought when all was said and done, we were about 12 grand short for what we think we really need.
All right, I'd like that, all right.
Could I ask
Yes, go.
Jeff, do you know what is in the undesignated fund balance right now?
That has nothing to do with it.
No, it's a
Just
moving
asking.
target, and we're still paying 2011 bills. So it's gonna be around 5 million.
It's not all liquid though.
Yeah, piece of.
Actually, it all belongs to you.
So,
I don't know
Part of it
that-
does.
My house isn't worth that much.
Part of it does.
we have talked a little bit about the town clerk tax collector. Any more discussion on planning and land use? So what you guys did was put a full-time position in, replacing a half-time position.
And that was already in the budget that you guys approved.
Right.
Can I
That was
speak on this?
already in there.
But the budget recommendation was increased 24,000. I don't understand if that was already in, how did that happen?
And
Because of the benefits.
the previous selectmen's budget had two 20-hour-a-week positions with no benefits. One of those employees has since resigned, so the selectmen took the remaining employee, who had been full-time a year ago, and saw her pay and benefits cut in half, and restored her to a full-time position.
Yeah.
So we've still gone from,
That's
2
right.
years ago, there were 4 full-time people there. We went to 3.5 in 2011, we're going to 3 in 2012. But instead of getting to 3 by having 2 part-timers, we're getting to 3 by having
One
a full-time
full-time.
position with benefits. And that just more or less restored a person who was previously there in the first place.
Yeah, the problem is you lost the person that had all the capability.
That's right.
I'm not gonna get into that discussion.
I know, it's not even, it shouldn't even been my comment, but it was.
Yeah,
Can I speak on this?
that's for sure.
At the beginning of this budget process, and not on this end, not at the budget committee, but at the selectmen, when the selectmen was starting to put together the budget, I mean, there was article after article in the paper about that position that she had since resigned. I assume she just couldn't live without benefits or the smaller pay, and I don't blame her. But that position was gonna be eliminated by the selectmen in this coming budget. And then it was restored to part-time, no benefits. Am I right? And then she resigned, so now you get the net effect of what you wanted to begin with, and then you added another half position or made a part-time position full-time. So you're actually above and beyond what at the beginning the selectman was shooting for.
Did you follow that?
I know it's confusing, but that's,
Yeah.
I thought that position, and I disagreed with that, eliminating that person. But I'm gonna keep names and personalities out of it, but
Yeah, we can come to those after.
you were gonna eliminate a full position from that department anyhow, and then you ended up adding a half position back in. I don't understand it, and this is the department that, I agree with Skip, we've all heard me speak on it, I see very little use, I see a lot of redundancy, I see very little use and benefit to the average taxpayer in this town. You go to the town clerk's office, I see, my first impression when I moved here, I went to the town, I said, boy, there's a lot of girls in this office. But you know what, they're always working. And I go to, probably twice a month I'm in there for dump stickers, registrations or something. And I don't have any issue with that at all. But this planning and land use, when I go down there, and I had to a few times, and I don't like to have to go down there, but I mean, I've actually had to sit there for 40 minutes while somebody had to finish reading something. And I just can't, there's no way to justify it. I look at what they do as a whole, the director, the building inspector, the girls, and there's no way to justify the line item for their salaries. I mean, maybe some, but not those amounts.
I'd be willing to cut through all this and add 12.2 back to tax collector or town clerk, tax collector.
Clerk, tax collector.
Oh, that was tough. You guys live in a tough world.
TCTC.
And,
It's easy to
yeah,
say,
that's the way to do it. And take it out of the planning and land use, unless you
That's
guys
right.
do with it what you want.
I'd like to
just
cut that
remember, it's
even
not gonna
further.
be, that's still not even enough. So
That's
remember-
not the 74,000.
Well,
that
no,
you're
no, no, no.
talking-
What I'm saying is, if you just do a wash of 12.2, 12.2, that budget's still up by 24,238, so you'd only be taking basically half of that. Remember that the planning and land use is increasing by those full-time benefits of 24,000. So you're only saying, you're only gonna cut that by 12.2.
I'm gonna add 12.2 and decrease to 12.2. How am I adding to the budget?
You're
You can
not
do it.
adding- You're not
you-
adding to the budget, but. he's
All I'm
saying-
telling you is, you guys are gonna do what you want anyway. I'm just giving you some money and go play with it.
No, 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 what I'm saying to you is, you're only gonna be 12.2 to planning land use,
Taking 12.2 out of it.
so you're still leaving $12,000 increase in that department.
But that person goes to part-time and the benefits go away.
I'm
I don't
leaving,
think it's that much. the
I agree.
benefits.
If I just made that trade, I'm still leaving 12 in that department.
Correct.
But the budget that you guys have set, if it's down 74,000, it's still down 74,000.
Yeah, really, all you're doing is saying, we still wanted it down 74,000. We're just suggesting you allocate it differently.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do what you wanna do anyway.
Right, that's all I'm saying. Because they're gonna do it, no matter what we come up with, they're gonna do what they wanna do anyway. All I'm saying is, we'll go back and give the TCTX what they want and take it out of someplace else, and the logical place is out of planning and land use. And then we can vote on this and move to the next
Well,
item.
why don't we get a motion to that?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we reduce the departments that we've been talking about,
Planning and land use.
planning and land use by 12,200, that's the number, and adding it back into the town collector, tax collector office.
And go on and say and leave all the others the same?
Well, let's start there,
Oh, so you just wanna pick on two of them?
so far.
Okay.
So we're gonna be here until midnight.
Is there a second?
That's why I got caught.
I got another bottle out there.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Discussion.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that that's enough to cut out of this department. I mean, we're here for savings. We're supposed to be here to save the taxpayers' money.
it is, I agree,
There's
but.
no way they can fund a $13,000, I mean, none of these positions are contractual, is that right, Gus?
On which department are you talking about?
Planning and land use, the three positions there.
As far as I know, nobody has a
So you can
contract.
cut or as you will, I mean, you
Cut,
cut them down
add,
part-time, you can
anything.
cut their pay. And if the dependents, if the need for the department and these positions have gone down, shouldn't that pay go down as well?
Well, I'm looking at them, I mean, we're getting a little deeper than what it's worth, in my opinion. Look at this from a macro point of view.
I don't think so. I've talked before about, subbing out some of these duties. And now I find out that neighboring communities, including Laconia, is subbing out their
Building inspectors.
building inspectors. We're not willing to do that. The positions split, and I have, this is person I think is a good asset to the town, but I have to look at it as, is it warrantable? I personally think he's an asset. I like the guy, and I think he's got a wealth of knowledge, but, I mean, is it possible, a set of, his other part of his position is really just nanny state, not necessary. I mean, the zoning enforcement, until somebody complains, there's really nothing to say.
Yeah,
So Kevin, if you want to, just so we can keep on moving, Mr. Chairman, if I may, if you want to put an amendment to Skip's motion,
Yeah.
let's do it, just so we can keep on
well,
going.
yeah,
Or
you
make
can
a
do that,
separate motion
but
after this.
You're going deeper than, what's the point when they're gonna do what they want anyway?
I mean, I think
Why aren't we
they're
looking
gonna
at
do it, but I mean, I'm gonna make the suggestion, I mean, if we're not gonna sub his position out, why don't we sub him out and let him generate some revenue, maybe let him do Laconia's, if it's up to Laconia, obviously, building inspection, maybe he can bring in more revenue and justify his salary.
I'm not gonna necessarily agree or disagree with you, Kevin, but again, the role of this board
He's not there.
is not
Right,
that.
I
But
understand
it
that.
is the role of, if you wanted to say, I don't want to fund X amount of dollars for that position, you could do that.
Right, put a number on it and make a motion.
Yeah.
$25,000.
How much?
Cut $25,000 out of planning and land use. I'd make
So
the
you wanna
motion
make an
top of
amendment?
his-
to amend, no, total. Amend it to $25,000.
So you're gonna amend, you're gonna add 12.2 to the TCTX and you're gonna subtract 25 from planning
I
and
thought
land.
the first, the
I just
motion
did
was
12 to 12.
take
So,
12,
well, you're
add
adjusting it
12
to
to-
the PT. the
add 12 to
Tax collectors.
tax collectors and remove 25,000 from.
So there's no money, that's all it is, it's just shuffling from one department to another.
So,
No,
Saying
it's,
nothing.
so that's an
it's still a
amendment.
net.
And who seconded that?
I can,
Then-
I can second it, can I?
You can do it, yeah.
Sure.
All right, so we now have an amendment to that motion that says put 12 into 12.2 into TCTX and take 25 out of planning and land use. Any more discussion on that before we vote to see if that amends the amount of the motion that's on the table? Okay, all those in favor of this by saying yes, you now have made the motion that we're going to have for 12 and 25 rather than 12 and 12 as Skip had mentioned. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Anybody opposed?
I oppose, I represent the majority of the Board of Selectmen.
1, 2, 3. All right, so it must be a vote of 9 to 3. So then the motion is, we're going to add 12.2 to the TCTX and take 25 out of
Planning and
planning and land use.
So, essentially, since we approved the first one, the second one, we should disapprove because the first one,
No, the second one doesn't exist. No, the first one doesn't
First one
exist
is now
anymore.
different.
The second one,
It's amended.
okay,
amended.
okay.
Are there any other changes on this that we want to make? That the selectmen have done?
Well, can we vote on this motion
Yeah,
first?
Yeah, we had a vote on this. All right, so all those in favor of the new motion, which is 12.2 and 25, as I just explained a little bit ago, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. So it passed 11 to 1. Are there any other changes to the selectmen's list of changes that we want to debate.
Skippy.
I'm looking.
You know, it was your fault, Russ,
It wasn't mine.
because you raised this vector of the budget committee actually, so we doubled you.
Yeah, you're in big trouble now.
You know what? I would love to lose that.
It's
I'd
almost,
love
the numbers
it.
are almost exact too.
I'd love it.
You speaking as a board?
Huh?
You speaking as a
I'm
board?
speaking as an individual.
So
I don't see anything else that I would want to change,
Thank
because
you.
everything else is decrease.
in my
Excellent. Thank
opinion,
you.
the
I go
selectmen's
more,
done
though.
an
No, no, no.
outstanding
Can we
job
just-
here.
All right, so
And
what's
so
that new
we
number?
we ought to go on and we ought to amend our total number consistent with this, and it will be down by the difference between,
12,800.
yeah, 12,000, it'll be down by 12,800.
Mr. Chair. does
Oh,
that
I was
include-
wrong.
Did you get the 125 and 1,500?
That's it.
That's already
That's
in
all
there.
that.
That's already in
Alright.
theirs.
Does that include the reversal to the cuts we made prior, like the
It does.
stipends?
Yes, it does.
So could we add those cuts back in?
You could if you want to be chintzy. I mean,
I'm Italian.
Well, Gus, you
We
asked,
eat pasta
I'll
because
give.
it's cheap.
I have another motion to make. Well, let me bring this up. Under administration, page 2 of 6.
Yep.
New bottom line is an increase of $51.79 because they're adding in $5,600 for yet another new maintenance telephone contract for the 3rd telephone system in a row.
Is that what that other?
Scott can tell you about that.
Skip, I apologize. What page did you say?
Page 2,
2 of 6.
under
Second to last
administration,
paragraph.
Oh, okay, got it.
yeah.
Scott,
Since
would
I
you speak
started
on
to
this?
look, an increase of 50, overall, an increase of $51.79 because there's a new maintenance contract on yet our 3rd telephone system in recent years of $56.16.
Is that what this quote and flyers all about? I mean, it's kind of Greek to me. Spalding Hill?
That's what it
Okay.
Telephone cams?
The way I look at it, at this stage of the game,
Correct.
we were fairly satisfied with a budget that was $11,141,922. Now we have an opportunity to be satisfied with a budget that is $86,000 less than that.
And we have that
Seems pretty,
17th position, right?
seems
Correct.
pretty easy to me to accept that $86,000.
Correct.
He dared me.
I dared you not to add money to it. That's what I dared you.
See, we met his
Yeah.
challenge and
Sounds
raised
good.
it.
Exactly.
Yes, right.
I just want to make the point, I know it's backtracking, but my original motion to raise our budget by $57,000, again, because we weren't here, Skip, my intention was to offset that. That was the exact number of merit wages, which, again, obviously is not popular and we can't control that at all, but the inability to even discuss that with the union, that was my point, is trying to say the old guns and butter thing where do you need the 17th position, or are they going to be willing to negotiate on merit increases? And look what comes to that is there's that domino effect. In my mind, that's the trade-off where we can't even speak to a union about being reasonable given the times, about foregoing their promised raises for a year under the circumstances. So it's,
See, I think what's happened is, yeah, you can make a statement like that, they can hear it, but what's happened is a whole set of circumstances, and we've got a budget that's $86,000 less than what we were talking about back then. I think we ought to take that, put it in our pocket, and walk away.
So what's the new number,
That's
Mr.
what I
Chairman,
was
that you're at?
thinking.
11
I
what?
have $11,055,115.
That's what I have.
55, 115.
Is that a motion, Dave?
No, it's a question.
11
Yes.
million, what do you have?
I'm not ready to take this number and walk away yet until we
115.
discuss these end of the year encumbrances and understand them, because we might want to make some additional adjustments.
1155,
Well, what I would suggest we do is finish this, and then we have, oh, Jesus, Gumstock Water District.
We also have the police union contract.
Oh, yeah. We'll have other, which is where you would talk about encumbrances, and if you have to, you come back and you revisit this.
I'll make the motion that we accept this budget.
Thank you.
Add the number.
11,055,000.
100.
Yeah, and I gotta trust Dave's numbers, I didn't add it up myself, so.
I got
Second.
the same thing.
But that way we can reopen it for a specific thing.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second.
Yes. Is there any more, is there any more discussion on that?
I can accept it for the time being then.
Yeah, we'll come back to it if you have if you find a valid point. All those in favor of $11,055,150 for the total budget that we have been discussing, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? You have, okay, 11 to 1.
Croc TV.